Welcome back to my channel, gamers. My name is Soul Betty. You can call me Soul. You can call me Betty. If you're dropping in a ranked game with me, you can call me anything you like as long as you're using your microphone and you're contributing to the team and focus on that dub. All right, so today I'm going to bring you a video on the status of Apex going into Season 15. Now, if we start earlier this week, Hal tweeted out a message talking about if there's not some serious changes in Apex, the game is eventually going to die. Now, there was a lot of responses to this. I even did a segment on one of my streams talking with some of my friends on some of the things that they would like to see. And I want you to keep in mind that I'm bringing this to you from a casual gamer's perspective. I can only play the game 10 to 12 hours a week. But this game is really important to me. It's something that I typically do 4 to 5 times a week, and I'm really passionate about the game. However, I do strive to get better every time I get onto the game, and it is important to me that the game is running smoothly. So I want to hit a couple of things in Season 14 first. So I can say that transitioning over to PC from PS4, that the game played very smooth this season. I didn't have that experience back in Season 2 and 3 when I tried to make the switch the first time. It wasn't that smooth, so I went back to PS4. And now that I've transitioned fully to PC, I am feeling very good about where the game's at from a smoothness standpoint. A couple of issues that I'm running into is the sound, as we all know, is not always 100%. Every now and again, I'm going to get run up on, and I'm not going to hear the person running up on me, which really feels like a disadvantage. And that's something that I would hope that they're going to fix going forward. Now, I do have some hope since that the developers came out and said that they weren't going to work on cross-platform migration anymore, and that 90% of the team was working on that, and they're pulling that 90% to work on some undisclosed issues in the game to make the game better for us legends. Very hopeful that sound is going to be a top priority there. The next thing that I hope to see fixed in Season 15 is I would like to see some different metas. And some of the gamers that I talk to would like to see the same thing, right? So Gibby has been in the meta for so long. I don't remember a season that Gibby hasn't been in or close to being in the meta. It's always been a high pick rate, and I do understand it's a very important character to have on your team, especially when you start getting into Platinum, Diamond, and even Master lobbies becomes a lot more important. Right? So we'd like to see that transition a little bit and maybe work on some buffs with some of the other characters like Mirage, do some reworks there. Lifeline was always a fun character in the early days. I'd like to see some reworks on Lifeline, maybe not go back to a full shield, but come up with some ideas that might make it a little bit more viable. Like instead of having the drop ship come down as an alt. Maybe it's an alt that is more like Overwatch, like Lucio, where when you put the alt down, it heals everybody to 100% or gives them all 50% healing. Whatever the case might be, just something that's a little bit more viable and bring those picks up a little bit, I think would be really super cool. Loba, reworking the bracelet a little bit, make it more functional. Yes, it can be OP now, and I like playing Loba, but sometimes it feels a little bit clunky, so I'd like to see a little bit of that. And then maybe take away some of the abilities of Seer and Bloodhound. Now, I'm not asking for nerfs here, but maybe some countermeasures with some of the other legends. And I do realize that the new legend coming in based off of the trailer, we think that might be a thing, and this may shake up the meta, so I'm really excited to see that. Okay, another thing in Season 14, the map rotation was a little rough. We didn't see World's Edge, and World's Edge is definitely one of my favorite ranked maps. And I was kind of disappointed that we went from Kings Canyon to Storm Point, but I don't know what the right fix is on that. I think that with the concurrent player base now, maybe put an option or trial where we could choose which map we want to play ranked on, and maybe give 2 choices for each one of these splits, so that way each map is put into the rotation. And if that doesn't work, maybe try something different, but I would definitely like to see something changed, or maybe it changes every 10 days during the split, or whatever the case might be. I'd like to see that changed, where it's a little bit more of a benefit and I'm not stuck playing Kings Canyon. Although I will admit the developers have done a good job making the map bigger, a little bit nicer to play, better rotations, and even the loot pool's a little bit better. I still don't like playing Kings Canyon, and I can see it in my stats right away. It typically goes down as I feel like I'm facing a heck of a lot more third parties. Storm Point, I do enjoy that as a ranked map and as a pub map. I think the state of the map right now, I wouldn't have any fixes. I know it's a little bit big, but I do feel like this makes for some good gaming. Every now and again, if you get a hot drop or you drop somewhere that's not hot and a lot of teams drop hot, it can make some ranked games feel more like pubs. But the overall feel of the map has been good for me so far. So I'm pretty excited about Storm Point still being in there. I would like to see Olympus in the ranked rotations as well, as when it was in, I did have a lot of fun on Olympus, and I think that it is actually a pretty good map for both pubs and ranked. Now I do, and I will talk about the new map here coming up in just a moment. Let's transition to Season 15. So here's some of the things that we know, and here's some of the things that we're looking for. So first, we know that we're getting a new map. And if you've had a chance, the new map looks pretty cool. I don't know how it's going to play out in ranked. And typically what Apex does is it does have the first split ranked on a new map. The map to me seems like it's going to be an adjustment to get around, to understand where to take fights, where the hot drops are going to be. And keep in mind, I understand that's like that with any new map. I just don't know how it's going to play yet, so I'm excited to see what that looks like, right? And you're all going to find that out today. I'm going to find that out. Unfortunately, I'll be out of town, so I'm not going to get to play for a couple of days. So please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think so far. But those are some of my concerns with the map. I think with the new character, if it really does counteract some of the wall hack characters or legends like Bloodhound and Seer, I think we're going to see a high pick rate of that, and that could shake up the meta a little bit. I also think for Season 15, we should consider buffing our characters and just leaving the characters that already feel OP where they're at right now. So instead of doing nerfs, I always feel like when we get caught up in the nerf games, it can throw a balance off. We saw this in Destiny 2 a lot. We'd see stuff nerfed all the time, and then it would just put something else as OP. I would say start buffing some stuff and start doing some character reworks that might make it more viable and see a different pick rate throughout the season. I think would be a lot of fun. I also think that ranked needs a little bit of a rework. Now, I do hear a lot of people talking about Season 13 ranked, and specifically Season 13 Split 1. I am not looking for that rank to come back, but I would like some form of it. I will talk about the cons first. So for me, being a casual gamer, I just don't have the time to grind. So I'm one that's willing to accept, maybe I'm not a diamond player, maybe I am a plat player or a gold player. I'm okay with that. Where I'm not okay is a lot of the folks that may not want to grind or may not have the time, that are much better than me, that are typically in Masters or even Predator lobbies, started playing pubs and started 3-stacking pubs. That season, I saw more Masters and more Predators in my pub lobbies than I ever did in ranked. And that is crazy to me, right? Now, again, I'm not looking for a bunch of bots in my pub matches either. I want to have fun with friends. I have friends that don't play ranked at all, so sometimes we will 3-stack. They're not real serious about the game. Sometimes I do play with people that are a little bit more serious. So I definitely want that competition there, but I don't want to feel like I'm playing in Masters lobbies, whether I play ranked or whether I play pubs. I don't mind if somebody's sweating, But if every engagement on a night is going up against masters and preds, even in pubs, at that point, I think it's just too much for your casual player base, especially somebody like me who is working and only putting in 10 to 12 hours a week. It's just not viable. And it made me play other games, and my game time went down. And there's still effects of that now, right? And when I started doing that, my aim went down, my positioning started to suck, even my communications wasn't as good. So then rank became unenjoyable as well. Now I'm going to leave you with this, gamers. I don't think Apex is going to go anywhere. I think that there's some good games out there that are going to rival it for sure. I'm having a lot of fun in Overwatch 2, and I think we're going to see a lot of players play Overwatch 2. I think that Fortnite did a good thing bringing no builds back, and that did drive some folks away from Apex. But I do think that this development team, or this team of developers, not only brings a fantastic game forward, I think we're very fortunate in the fact that we have such a fun game to play, a game that does make a lot of changes throughout that are subtle enough to not drive us away from the game and big enough to keep us entertained and engaged in the game and to make us want to continue to grind. And I think that's hard to find. And I think Fortnite really laid the blueprint on that. And I think that Apex is doing a good job with that as well. And I'm not ready to give up on this game. Talking with friends, they still think that this is the funnest game out. Even friends that came over from other games that might not have played quite as long as I have still feel that this game is viable. And I've been asking a lot of people, both randomly when I'm playing and or friends that I've played with for years, and I'm getting the same consensus. So I want to hear from you. What do you think the state of the game is in? What do you think that the roadmap looks like for Apex to continue to improve? And ultimately, why do you like the game the way that it is? So, thank you for listening to my video. I would appreciate it if you subscribe, right? We got to have that. Leave some comments down below. And if there's anything you want to see in the future, I would love to hear some video ideas from you folks, and I will make that happen. So, until I see you in the arena, legends, have a wonderful day, and I hope you have a wonderful day of launch gaming on the new map.